Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk a little bit about messaging. Now, any good part of communications, and we all know this, communications is very simple in terms of how we go about it. It's about getting the right message to the right person at the right time and place. Very straightforward. The problem is that in the 21st century, with all of the social media stuff and everybody's on their screen, we tend to focus a lot on the right person, so the target group, and the right message, so the content or the micro content that we're creating for that person. But what's really important is the right time and place. So today, we're going to be talking a little bit more about how you can reach the right target group, but figure out what is the right time and place to reach them to make sure you're converting and actually selling and making money. Stick around. So as I said, communications is about the right message to the right person at the right time and place. So the right message, I'm not going to focus too much on that. You guys know how to create content. You guys know your brand. The right person is target group. So we talked a lot about that. If you check out part 1 or part 2 of the marketing essentials, we talk a lot about target group and messaging. But today I want to talk a little bit about the third component, which tends to be underrated, is right time and right place. So what does that mean? Right time and right place. Well, the key crucial aspect is that we're all human beings. We have lives. I don't wake up in the morning and think I'm a daily Coca-Cola drinker, or I'm a Zoom user, an SAS subscriber for Zoom. Those are just little things that are part of my life. My life is much more complex. As a human being, I have friends, I have family, I have a career. There's so many things that I focus on. There's so many things that I do throughout the day that if you don't engage me at the right time and place, I'm simply not going to see your message. I'm simply not going to get engaged, which means I'm also not going to give you money, which means you're not going to get revenue. So the key here is the right time and place. And I want to specify that a little bit more. So here's a really good example. Let's say you are IKEA and you're trying to sell a castle bed. So a children's castle bed, like a bed that looks like a race car or castle, right? So a castle bed. The target group is a group we call balancers, but for you guys, just to make it simple, the key insight is that these parents don't feel that they spend enough time with their kids. So they have a little bit of element of guilt. They kind of feel guilty. So they tend to spoil their kids a little bit more than other parents do. And we're trying to hit that guilt factor and hit that guilt insight to make sure that they buy the castle bed. So we have the message, we have the target. Now, what's the right time and place? So let's assume that we're running a radio campaign. So we're going to run through radio. Now, in the US, there's always the morning commute or the evening commute. Those are typically the two times where radio peaks. The morning commute is more people, so you get more reach because everybody goes to work at the same time. Evening, everybody comes back at a different kind of time, so it's not necessarily the same amount of reach. So it's a little bit lower reach. But which one is better? Which one would you choose? Well, a lot of marketeers choose the morning drive because of the reach, because everybody has their radio on and everybody's listening and it's just a lot of people. But that's the wrong answer because of mindset. So a balancer, they wake up in the morning, they get the kids ready, and they're leaving the house with their kids, taking the kids, to school, and then they're going to work. Now, in this commute, when they're with the kids in the car, they're 100% not ready to receive any type of message. Their main focus is basically navigation. Get the kids to school. Kids are screaming in the car, they're running around, they're throwing things at each other, they're fighting with each other, the brother and the sister are fighting with each other. So the parents at that point, all they're focused on is just get the kids to school. Once the kids are at school and they're commuting to work, they tend to shift mindset. So they're outside of the family mindset and they're already thinking about work. They're thinking about the emails they have to write, the to-do list. They might even be on the phone already calling their colleagues or calling their partners. Getting the workday kickstarted is the mindset that they're going for. Now, if I want to get my workday kickstarted and you start talking about castle beds, I'm simply not going to hear the message. I'm not receptive. Balancers won't be receptive. Evening drive is a little bit different because in the evening drive, they left work, so they're going home. They might be a little bit late that day. They're feeling guilty already because they haven't spent enough time with the kids, with the family. So they're already receptive. They're already within the mindset of being with the kids. They already have that element of guilt. They might pick up a pizza and some Coca-Cola on the way home just to spoil the kids so they feel less guilty. And then that's when you hit them with the castle bed communication, okay? So that's where receptivity comes into play. So How do we do this? How do we figure out the right message, the right time and place to the right person? Well, target group, you got it. The messaging, you got it. Now, the right time and the right place. This is the key. Well, the right place is kind of been solved for us. You don't have to really think about too many complicated things. It's not really a bunch of billboards and out-of-home communication. The right place is basically this. You have to be here. You must end up on their screen. So we know where the place is. It's on their iPad, it's on their iPhone, it's on their computer screen. So at some point in time, you have to end up on your target group's screen. So we know where the right place is. How do you figure out what's the right time? Well, what we do is we call it a day in a life, and it looks something like this. So it's a day in the life of your target group. This is, for example, Chardonnay girls. It's one of the target group's behavioral segments that we use, Chardonnay girls. So they wake up in the morning, right? They commute to work, they get ready for the day. So they're doing a whole bunch of things throughout the day. Breakfast, getting ready, commuting, quick update at work or school, lunch at work or school, homing from work, meeting with friends, having fun with friends, commuting home, dinner with a family, relaxing, going to bed. This is a typical weekday for a Chardonnay girl. Now, at every single point that you see there, there's a mindset. So we know what they're doing, but what are they thinking? What is their thought process? What is the right time that I can engage them with my message? This example is from a beer brand. So if you look at all of the red circles, those are activities they can actually consume beer, buy and drink beer. So it's lunchtime, having fun with friends, dinner with family, and then relaxing at home. Those four are the key points where they can actually drink beer. The yellow ones are the ones where we can drive purchase intent. So it's where we can communicate. They're not necessarily buying it. They might be buying and drinking it. So some of them overlap, but some of them don't. But their mindset is right. It's correct for receiving the message. For example, let's take homing from work. So homing from work is the 3-4 p.m. You know, there's working from home, which is you're doing your job, so you're working, but you're physically at home. So homing from work is the opposite, right? So you're actually doing something personal, like chatting with friends on Instagram. You're writing to different groups. It's about 3:30, 4 p.m. So it's about a couple hours until they can go home from work, but they're already kind of tired. And, Chardonnay girls are young, they're vibrant, they're very social people. So they're chatting with their friends, trying to figure out what they're going to do in the evening, catching up, going to a movie, talking with their parents. So it's kind of that homing from work area. And at that point, if you start communicating about beer, it's the right mindset. They're ready for it. But if you start communicating beer when they're commuting to work, obviously you're going to miss. So we have to know what is their typical day in order to then identify where we can drive purchase intent and where we can drive consumption. Now, this is crucial. When I say purchase intent, I mean purchase intent. I don't mean awareness. Awareness for me is a no-no word. If I talk to marketeers and they start talking about awareness, I completely lose respect for anything that's happening after that. Awareness is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Awareness for the sake of awareness is simply not a good investment. You want to drive purchase intent. So you don't want everybody to see you, but you want the people that do see you actually want to buy. So again, drive purchase intent. So this is where we can go a little bit deeper. Let me give you another really cool example about right time and place with the right message. So let's take another really quick example. This is a stop smoking drug, a case study about a stop smoking drug. So it's a drug that you take that helps you to quit smoking. Now, there's two different target groups here, just to give you an example, so you can see the differences of mindset and differences of time and place once you change your target group. So one is Chardonnay girls, young, vibrant, social, right? The other one is balancers again, so the parents that feel guilty. Now, for Chardonnay girls, for the young, 24, 23-year-old, for them, they've probably been smoking for 2-3 years, so they just started, right? It's not really something that they've been doing for multiple years. Them deciding to quit to smoke is a little bit more of a spontaneous decision. It's not really like I have to change my entire life or like this, deep and complicated decision. So for them, it's quick. But the problem there is that if we say you're going to die, quit smoking because you're going to die, it doesn't work. 22-year-olds don't think they're going to die. You're not really in the right messaging there, right? It's not the right mindset. It's not the right target group. So what is it about smoking that might get them to quit? Well, the key that's been found in the industry is that it's the smell. You smell like shit when you smoke. Very straightforward. And more importantly, your clothes smell like shit. You can wash your hair, you can wash your hands, but the smoke smell doesn't come out of your clothes no matter how many times you wash it. If you're a smoker, your clothes always smell like smoke. Just like if you walk into anybody's house or somebody's car that is a smoker, you will know they're a smoker because you can smell it in the fabric of the car, the fabric of your house. So for them, the right mindset then would be when they're shopping for new clothes at the mall. So they're shopping for new clothes and you just push the message, do you want your old clothes to smell like your new clothes? Quit smoking. So you hit them at that right time with the right message. For balancers, it's a little bit more complicated, right? They're parents, they're probably 35 to 40. So they've been smoking for 15 years at least. So it's a longer term period. For them to decide to quit smoking is a life-changing decision. It's a complicated and a bigger decision that needs to be made. The only time that balancers are able to reflect upon their lives and try to fix or better themselves is when the kids are asleep at night. There's no other way. When the kids are awake, they have zero time and zero focus on the big picture of their own life. They're just trying to get through the day to day. So for them, the right time would only be after the kids are asleep, when they're sitting in front of a TV, watching Netflix, or they're trying to, they're on their phone scrolling through. So it has to be, 9:30, 10 p.m. or later. And it has to be the messaging that's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more complex, a little bit more about the kids, right? So, do you want to keep up with your kids type of communication? It's not really about the clothes. So again, we changed target group. The timeline completely changed. The right time and place completely changed. So taking all this into account, you guys have to figure out not only who you're targeting and what the message should be, which is also crucial, but most importantly, you have to hit them at the right time and at the right place. So you are being engaged into their lives, right? Customer journey. You have to go through their journey. You have to go through their life, how they live their life, and then try to inject your messaging throughout to engage them and involve them. If you guys are still here, if you guys are still watching, please help us out. Drop a quick subscribe. It helps us out a lot, guys. It helps us run the channel. It helps us grow the channel. So we really do appreciate it. And I'll leave you with one last thought. Any communication, any messaging needs to have three key components. You have to get the target group to understand, believe, and act upon, okay? Understand, believe, and act upon. So basically functional, emotional, and then call to action. Any type of communication has to have some sort of functions involved. Any type of communication has to have some sort of emotions involved, and they have to have a call to action. Why? If you don't do the functional, you only do the emotional and the action, it creates confusion. I know I want to buy it, I just don't know why I want to buy it. And that's going to create a little bit of confusion, a little bit of controversy. If you have understand, so the functional, and you have the buy, but you don't have the emotional, well, you get a little bit of cynicism, and that's where competition comes into play. If it's only functional and buy, then pricing becomes much more important than any type of brand communication that you can do. And if you go understand and believe, so the functional and emotional, but you don't have a call to action, it's a false start. It just creates a whole false start. I like it. I want it. I know why I want it. I just don't know how to get it. So call to action, I think, is crucial. You have to go through, again, their customer journey and make sure you're guiding them towards revenue, towards your sale, so that they can actually buy it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video this week, guys. Stick around, and I'll see you next week.